Ahora, bienvenido a Santiago Urrea in Germany. Santiago has been working at NTT Global for 8 years and is the head of Integrity and Field Verification Services. His background is in mechanical engineering and material technology with a master's in engineering. He has global experience delivering inline inspection reports to pipeline operators, including recommendations and integrity consulting. Santiago will tell us about NTT Global's new OPTIX data visualization and insights platform. Over to you, Santiago.
Thank you, Danny. So good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So I want to talk a little bit about OPTIX today, where this idea came from, why we're doing this, and why we're changing the way we deliver reports. So to give a little bit of context, I think we've been asking ourselves, but where is the digital journey taking this industry, and how do we play a role in this? So we know that us as vendors, we deliver inline inspection reports as PDFs, and in some cases CSV files, POTS databases, and multiple different formats. But we can do better. A static PDF that is archived is not bringing benefit to anyone. We know that some pipeline operators struggle to manage volumes of data, results, but most importantly, referring back to runs and results. So this is timely and problematic. So we can make this easier. And there's no real platform to engage with operators interactively on projects, or one place where everything can be found. So we can solve this. We're also collecting metrics and terabytes of ILI data. Yes, we're doing machine learning applications, deep learning, and a lot of things with this information. But what are the unknowns worth sharing? And if we have all these backend capabilities, how can we put this information in front of the customer in a really easy way that can be pretty much done in a cell phone? So we can definitely do better. So with OPTIX, what we're thinking for the future is changing the way we provide access and deliver ILI data. So we're building in something that everyone is used to, pretty much the cloud, Microsoft technology. So we're also thinking people don't want to learn a new software, take 4 days, 1 week, work with an engineer to understand code, something really complicated. So something that is pretty much as using any other app that we're used to using. We were also thinking about security. When we talk about cloud, well, we're afraid about security. So we worked in a way that we have 7 layers of security where nothing is stored in the cloud, and this has been already independently verified. Something of paramount importance, access to the reports and ILI data anywhere. So no connection to the VPN, no dongle, no complex licensing, pretty much anywhere. Office, home, transit, ditch, tablet, mobile device, something that is really simple to use. And again, something that we're already used to using. So this is why we built it around the Microsoft platform. And this enables other things that we're used to using, like Teams or OneDrive. So why have separate instances to share information in different places when we're already using these platforms within our companies, and then we can use this to interact with you. We also, as I mentioned, are collecting a plethora of information, terabytes of data. So we want to give this ability to access not only active, but also historical information, and what the metrics and what all the information that we've collected from years means. So by this, we have to think in the future, and we have to think in, well, what happens when we're collecting and collating multiple inspections? Well, we have to provide comparisons of these inspections in a very simple form. Or the operators are sharing also a lot of information from field verifications. So we not only have to handle this information, we have to quality check it, but then we can push it back and show it in a really easy, cool dashboard without confusing or without putting complicated information out there. So we're thinking of releasing every quarter, something new, something different, and without people knowing that this happens. So no one has to install a software, no one has to do an update. This will just appear in your screen, or as you do it with other applications. And our end game is to eliminate the need of PDFs, archive maintenance, and create something that is scalable and modular and puts all this information into the operator's fingertips. So by saying this, I'll show one of the ways that you can access this platform or this environment that I'm mentioning. So let's say everyone or most of us use OneNote. OneNote is part of Office 365. In Office 365, well, we're using PowerPoint. I was just using PowerPoint, Excel, Teams. Everyone uses Teams, OneDrive. So what happens if we start pushing information and giving access to information in one of these applications? So we can create a very easy dashboard where customers or pipeline operators will gain access to a landing page where they start having access to all the information they need. So as a start, well, we're collecting pipeline information. We have different types of inspections. So if a customer wants to select a very specific type of pipeline, a technology, sometimes we're running multi-technology, a year, maybe something from 2015 that needs referencing, it can be done. So for this example, I'll just select a combined inspection, a wall measurement inspection, and a crack inspection. So one thing that we noticed that became a little bit annoying is going back to very basic information. So we don't want to go and track the person who did the analysis or look for a PDF or search an email or search a PowerPoint presentation. If we want to know what type of inspection was done, what technology, 1 year, was it launch and trap, medium, operation, pipeline details, this can be pretty much done automatically. So we're providing historic access to very simple information in a very simple way. And again, as I'm doing it here, it can be done in a cell phone. Other important things that operators want to know immediately without the need of having to read a PDF or having to discuss it with something is what did the tool detect and what are the areas of importance. So if we just present a dashboard immediately after we deliver an inspection report, showcasing the most critical aspects of the report, like amount of features, depth median, length median. Okay, how many meta losses? 70 of these meta losses are greater than 4 millimeters. Okay, where they are, the external position. So the ability to slice and dice what it would be on a PDF report, static, and that it would require transferring the files to Excel, transferring to a database, and then creating using other types of softwares of pieces. If we can just remove this anxiety and provide this information in a very simple way, then we believe we're doing the right thing. So the idea is to provide the history of this inline inspection and the history if there has been multiple inline inspections in a very easy to use interactive dashboard. One key thing that everyone looks after an inline inspection. Okay, how many features I have, where, what are the densities, and which ones are the ones that I have to target. So a lot of operators want to go through the analysis software, want to use the full experience of what the data means, but others don't really have the time. Others don't really want to spend the time looking at a C-scan, a B-scan, MFL data. So what happens if we just provide some of this information here in seconds? Maybe a river bottom profile, maybe a crack tip profile, maybe a C-scan, maybe the most relevant sensor, features that are upstream, downstream. All this information can be populated here to access in seconds. This includes repairs, this includes other types of or interesting pieces of information that might be needed. And we're doing this for all the other aspects. In some cases, we just want to understand, okay, how many welds are in the pipeline? What's the distribution of wall thickness? We don't want to spend time looking for this information. So maybe someone in procurement, maybe a project manager needs to understand, okay, how many flanges are in the inspection and where, okay, they're here. Things like this, slice and dice. Pipe tally by distance, same thing, this information. Where are my areas of heavy wall? Where are my areas of thin wall? Which ones are ERW? Which ones are diesels? Which ones are seamless? And then if we get a system summary from an operator, we can overlay this information and show discrepancies like, this is what the tool detected, this is what the system summary says. But again, in 5 seconds. So this is the idea of OPTIX. Provide all this information, remove this anxiety, and just create a digital dashboard that you can access anywhere. Something that we can do as well is elevation charts. So if you're running an INS, a GPS survey, we can plot this information pretty quickly. Map. So sometimes we don't want to wait for GIS integrations. We just want to know where the meta losses are. So we can select, okay, where are the meta losses? Which meta losses are the really deep ones? Okay, here they are. Of course, this is the ocean. This is a demo version, but you get the idea. So that's what we want to bring to the customers and to their fingertips. As well, the data, we collect all this data. Our databases have sometimes more information, sometimes something more useful. So every piece of information from this report can be extracted and can be extracted in different forms and fashions. So even a simple chart can be extracted. So this is the idea behind OPTIX. And our idea is to continue this path of digitalizing everything. So dynamic DQAs, why providing static charts of data quality assessments when we can do it dynamically? Why use different sources to share files when we can share it in one platform? Something as simple as chat in Teams. So maybe we want to talk to the pipeline integrity engineer. Maybe we want to talk to the key account manager. This can be done by the ease of using the same type of platform that we're already using. So this is the idea behind OPTIX. And I give it back to Danny for the Q&A.
Santiago, thank you so much for that great presentation. That's a really cool software. I like that you're saying goodbye to PDFs. They're a thing of the past. It seems to me a natural evolution. You know, everybody is using their apps on their phones and tablets each day. So I like that a lot. I wanted to ask you, Santiago, is this a service that NDT Global is offering only for new inspections, or are you backdating past data?
We're offering it for any customer who has active or historic inspections with us. So it doesn't matter the year. All this information for us is visible. So what we're doing now is sharing it with the operator. So all of our historic information can be displayed through this platform. Yeah.
That's great. You can upload past inspections into that as well. And does that allow you to then compare inspections of the same line year on year so that you can identify growth of defects, for example?
Yeah, this is the cool thing. So we're not targeting asset management in a very complicated software. For this, there's really sophisticated software, and it has a completely different application. But we're collecting all this data. So as you mentioned, what happens if we have multiple inspections? Maybe we've done 8 inspections in a pipeline system for the last 10 years. So what are the key metrics of this? Is there any change? Are there any areas exhibiting something that might be interesting, something that the operator might be missing? Is there a need to do crack growth assessment or a corrosion growth assessment. All this information, we can put it in one screen, in one dashboard saying, this is your history for the last 5 years. These are your key metrics, and this is how the inspections compare. You might need to focus on these areas, or there's no significant change, and everything keeps pretty consistent. But yeah, this is all possible.
Great. So you make sure there's an executive summary to highlight anything that's very important and it doesn't get left out.
I think that's the key point, that we're going to highlight it in one dashboard that pretty much tells you your history of the pipeline based on these inspections. Yeah.
Have you seen any resistance, for example, against from people who are less tech savvy and prefer a hard copy?
That's a great question. So we've seen some resistance on the fact that hard copies are required by law in some cases. So customers are asking, are you going to eliminate hard copies? The answer is no. We will still deliver a hard copy if this is needed. Some countries, some customers are not asking for this anymore. But if a hard copy is needed, we'll deliver it. But at least we will eliminate the need of that person accessing the hard copy, accessing a hard drive, accessing a binder 3 years in the future.
Maybe that's a law that's potentially it could be changed. Are you making any efforts to speak to the regulators to change that?
That's the idea. So how we think of things is, of course, paperless. So this is something that eventually has to happen. We understand the reasons why. And of course, the internet is not 100% fail-safe. But there's different ways that we can passively protect data and ways that we can minimize the impact in the environment. Because in some cases, we are reporting hundreds of thousands of features, and these binders have 10,000 pages. So it's important for us to focus on digitalizing and minimizing the impact of hard copies.
Great, thank you very much. Well, I think we've gone slightly over time, but I'm sure everyone will agree that those have been 3 excellent presentations, and it was well worth the extra few minutes. So Santiago, thank you very much again for the great presentation.
Appreciate it, Danny. Thank you.